Dead by Daylight 2025 wish list, bro. I have a few notes like written down for like off the top of my head, right? So to start out, I'm doing them numbered, right? I'm doing like what I want numbered, but it's not really in any particular order. I am gonna start out with like Killer, because I enjoy Killer the most. I play Killer the most in Dead by Daylight. So Killer has a lot of things that I'd like to see happen and like reworked and fixed for 2025 to actually improve the Killer experience. So we're gonna start out with Killer and kind of like go down the list that I have wrote. I want to see some Killer reworks. Oh god. / buffs, right? So we have been playing Trapper the same way for fucking years. Now, we did get like a Trapper like buff, kind of like a buff rework a few years ago, like in like, what was it, 2022 into 2021, something like that. And literally he just got like more traps, right? And like his traps weren't like placed all around the map in some crazy way. So I just like to see like some outdated killers like reworked. We've been playing Nurse the same way for years, outside of like some add-on reworks and stuff like that. Not really like a drastic overhaul. And I know some of these original killers are like more or less iconic for the way that they play. I don't necessarily want them entirely reworked per se. I would just like to see them get like some updates, like maybe a couple of new game mechanics, maybe some buffs here and there, maybe like Mori reworks. I mean, that counts for me. Like, give us some Mori reworks for Nurse, Billy, Trapper, Wraith, like the OGs, even Huntress. I mean, I'd like to see that for a lot. I'd also like to see some of the worst killers in the game kind of get some reworks, right? I would like to see Myers get reworked, and if I remember correctly, a Myers rework was in the pipeline, maybe? I don't quite remember, but I'd like to see Myers get reworked. I'd like to see some of these, like, killers with not the best powers get reworked, like even Ghostface, right? Ghostface got a rework as far as add-ons and stuff goes a couple of years ago as well, but it just didn't really do anything for the character. Maybe, again, not necessarily completely changing the entire way that the power works, but I mean, just make it a little bit better in some ways. Maybe revert some old add-ons, because I remember old Ghostface add-ons being a little bit better than new Ghostface add-ons, so maybe just some stuff like that, right? And I know the Freddy rework is also coming. And I mean, it's looking like 2026 for that shit, but I'd like to see that rework come out. I want to do something fun, right? So we have YouTube members here on YouTube, obviously, and we have Twitch subs on Twitch. So I'm going to pick one or the other for these different things. And if one of the things happens, right? Like if something that's obviously we don't know that's happening, like the Freddy rework is happening. We know that, so that doesn't count. But like say Mori's, right? Okay, so we'll do Mori's reworked equals I will gift 5 memberships here on YouTube to the people in the chat, right? So we'll put memberships down on it. I think that'll be pretty fun, and we'll do that with all of these, with like the more rare things, the rare possibilities going higher. I'd say my next one, and this is gonna be a big gift sub one, right? My next one is make survivors unique. What does that mean? I want to have a reason to play different survivors. I'm tired of it just being like based on skins and everything, and that's how it's been for like years, dude. It's been you play the survivor that you prefer the most as far as skins and everything goes, and it's the complete opposite when it comes to killers, right? Like you play killers like based on their power, how much fun you have with their power and everything. There is nothing outside of skins and the base skin and lore, if you're into that, I guess, that give you a reason to play a survivor. And I want that to change. I want something unique about each survivor. And whether that's taking one of their perks and incorporating that into the character and like removing the perk from all of the other survivors to like give you a reason to play that survivor. I want something unique. I want to have a reason to play one of these however many fucking survivors there are in the game right now. I want a good reason to pick one instead of just, oh well, Fung, however you say her name, she's got the bunny skin, I gotta play her, or I gotta play Kate because she's got the cowboy shorts, or you know, whatever. Like outside of like licensed survivors, I have no reason to play like Dwight or Kate or fuck, I don't know, Meg, right? Like, I have no reason, like, to play these survivors. I pick my favorite when it comes to the licensed, because those are the only survivors that really interest me. I pick one of the 4 of the perks from every single different character. There's nothing unique, dude, outside of the skin or the name of the survivor. I want something unique. And for this one's gonna be 20 memberships. That's a big one. I don't think that will ever happen, but that will be on my wish list until this game, until it either happens or until this game is canceled or DBD 2 comes out. I want that very, very badly, because we have no reason to play different survivors. There's just no reason. Compared to killers, like, if I want to throw hatchets at somebody, I pick Huntress. If I want to charge somebody with my mutated zombie bullshit, I'll play Wesker. If I want to chain people up and for atonement, right, I'll play Pyramid Head. But, like, survivors, I have no reason. No reason. Another big one for me, because a lot of my friends do not play Dead by Daylight. So I end up playing solo queue Survivor 9 times out of 10 when I play. I end up playing solo queue Survivor most of the time. And it's to the point with playing solo queue Survivor, it's gotten better. But it's to the point where it's like, it's an absolutely miserable experience. Like, I would rather go play Mortal Kombat 11 than play solo queue Survivor in Dead by Daylight. It's actually fucking miserable. And there are some things that could definitely improve that they have talked about. One of the more major things would be something like emotes, right? Emotes or voice chat. And I know that's going to, like, blow the heads off of some killer mains, right? They're going to be like, Survive with Friends is already cheating. People in Discord together. Okay, Survive with Friends is usually like a group of friends who have known each other for a while, like getting together. They probably played with each other a lot. They're probably coordinated. I don't think a voice chat would blow Dead by Daylight up when it comes to the solo queue experience. You're gonna absolutely have some, like, better players out there who will be able to coordinate very, very easy. But I don't think, as far as balance goes, it's going to blow the entire game up. And I think this is something that should have already been base in the game for a very long time, as to not have it blow the heads off of people. A very basic game mechanic, design mechanic that a lot of games, if not most games, have these days, right? It should have been in the game from the start. Being able to communicate with your team in a very real way. I know it's going to blow the heads off of some killer mains, and they're really going to hate that and hate this video because of that. It would greatly improve solo queue Survivor to the point of actually being, like, enjoyable on a daily basis, instead of, like, I can only do this shit once a week, dude. I can only play, like, solo queue Survivor for a couple of games once a week, if that, right? I just think the solo queue experience needs to really be improved. Or, I mean, like I put, like, even emotes, something like that, right? So you can have a radial wheel of, like, different emotes that you can do to other survivors maybe nearby. Maybe it pops up in, like, an in-game voice chat with that emote. I think that would, if they didn't want to do something like voice chat, if it wasn't possible on the code that the game actually has, I think that would also do wonders for a solo queue Survivor. But it needs help, dude. It still needs help. I think this next one really kind of goes in with it. And we'll put that one at, like, that's a pretty big one. 10 memberships. Oh, wow. I've been spelling memberships wrong. Memberships. Good lord, I've been putting an extra E. My keyboard's at an awkward angle. I'm also dyslexic, but I can't blame the dyslexia this time. I just hit an extra key. This one kind of goes in with it. Make the experience more enjoyable. And that would be stuff like getting rid of Go Next culture, doing something about slugging, hackers, obviously. And I would say for killers, because we have slugging, it would be fixing, like, in-game BM, teabagging, because it's just toxic, bro. Yeah, I don't see why they haven't done something about that already. Slugging, Go Next culture, and BMing has, like, as far as teabagging, clicking flashlights, that's been in the game since it came out. Slugging has gotten better. They've kind of fixed face camping, but they haven't really done anything about slugging or teabagging or anything like that. I would like to see, like, a limit being put on the amount of times you can, like, press control, like, in a row, right? So, like, you can't just sit there and spam it, because it's just toxic, bro. It's just a way to be a douchebag, and it's something they can absolutely do something about to kind of fix, like, the mentality of the game, the toxicity of the game in some way, shape, or form. Same with slugging. There are absolutely things that they can do about it, like being able to, after being slugged for so long, you can just press a button to die. right? If it's near the end of the game, you can just press a button to die. But then that kind of goes into go next culture. If you just crawl away and hide from the killer and you really don't want to deal with anything, and you just get to the point where you can press that button, you can press the button and just leave the game and have no repercussions. So it's kind of hard to get around when it comes to slugging. That's one that's a little bit more specific and would take a lot of thought from whoever was, designing that. But go next culture, we talked about that like a lot. People like DCing and killing themselves on a hook. We reacted to a really good video that gave some ideas for that, like a bag sports queue, some type of thing to do with a queue that doesn't split the game up too hard, but also incentivizes good play, or you get put with other dudes who do the same shit, like DC and kill yourself on first hook and stuff like that. Maybe like manually reviewed how CSGO had, where they had like, if you got reported so many times for like hacking, some more reputable dudes, or I think everybody could do it, but I think it was only really reviewed by staff if it was reviewed by a reputable player. Like some reputable players could review the gameplay footage and they could like determine whether you were doing so or not, and then that report could go off to like a team at behavior who review it on top of that review and determine if you were doing some shit like that. So like then you get put in a bag sports queue or some kind of like elo or some shit like that, something that they could do with it. I'm sure they could figure something out. There's been so many good systems in other video games they could take notice of and take inspiration from to make the experience better in Dead by Daylight. I don't know like all of the logistics. I just know I want the game to become like a lot less toxic, and that's kind of like how. Right? A really big one for me, a huge one, dude. A huge one. Remove map offerings. That's a very big one for me, dude. Map offerings have been a pain in my ass when it comes to this game. And I think it's a pain in a lot of people's ass. It's just a bad idea, right? With how the maps are balanced in this game, which is not very good. How they are designed in this game, which is not very good. Most maps are either super survivor-sided or super killer-sided, right? I don't think you should be able to use a map offering to torture the other side with. I think that's just a bad idea, and it should be removed. Like, it's been talked to death by people like Ox, Hens, so many other people have talked about how bad map offerings are and how bad they need to be removed from Dead by Daylight. So, yeah, that's 20 memberships from me, straight up, dude. It's a horrible idea. It's a horrible thing in the game. We've said for years it needs to be removed, and I really hope 2025 is the year that they ditch that shit for good. Ruthless is saying voice chat and P100 is currently being worked on, so that's very exciting. So 10 memberships might be going out already. My last one is obviously just some more cool license collabs. The big ones for me would be like more cool anime. Like I'll put Berserk is a big one for me, / Death Note. I'd love to see Death Note in the game. A big one for me, which is going to be the gift subs, right? Scooby-Doo, dude. I would love to see them get Scooby-Doo. And here's the thing about it. Scooby-Doo, WB has started to do like some regular shit with Scooby-Doo, right? They did that Velma show on HBO Max, whatever, like last year, the year before last. It was terrible. It was absolutely trash, right? But it showed us that they can do regular Scooby-Doo. So I would absolutely fucking love, dude, to have a Scooby-Doo full chapter in the game. Give us a killer from Scooby-Doo. And they did regular with Supernatural too. Remember that? The Supernatural Scooby-Doo crossover? And it had all of them in it. So we could get them. Maybe we couldn't actually get Scooby, but we could get Shaggy, right? We could get Shaggy and maybe that ghost killer in Supernatural. Or like a regular version of Minor 49er. Or fucking Captain Cutlass. Captain Cutler, some shit like that. I would love to see that, dude. That would be fucking awesome. And I think with Scooby-Doo, like doing a little bit more rated R shit in the past few years, like with Supernatural and the Velma show, I think it's actually possible. So this is a pretty big one for me. That would be fucking cool. One that I actually forgot. P100 rewards. And Ruthless, you know, obviously the dude who's been leaking all this shit, right? Said that it is coming. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on here. But like, there is absolutely no fucking reason to get a character to P100 right now. Outside of like doing a challenge or just being like, dude, I really love this fucking character. I want to play them as much as I can and like do everything for them. But like on like a casual basis of like having a reason to play one character that much and not play any other characters, right? There is absolutely no reason to do that. I really don't see it's FOMO, right? We've talked about that before in a video not that long ago. They want to give the illusion of there's no fear of missing out in Dead by Daylight, even though they have all these winter event skins, and they said that was one of the reasons that they weren't going to do it, because they didn't want more fear of missing out or fear of missing out in general, and they already had it, so like it was a dumb reason not to have it. So like we need P100 skins, right? We need them. There's absolutely no fucking reason to not have them in the game. They should have been added when we got Prestige 100. Bro, a Captain Cutler skin for Deathslinger? Bro, that would be sick, dude. I think I'm pretty happy with this. I think I'm honestly pretty happy with how this looks. I think if any of these things happen, that'd be a very happy boy. Going into 2025, I'd be very, very happy. Be a very happy boy.